Welcome back to Scout the Shadows. Drew and I are here, and we're talking interior defensive lineman.
There you go.
So unnecessary long. So, oh my goodness, I can't talk tonight. This is gonna be great. But just so recently, Amari Washington is returned to school, so he's off the board, out of the conversation, which is fine because just to touch on it, neither of us were crazy high on him. I was actually a lot lower on him than I wanted to be, but I don't remember where you said. I know you said you weren't buying the top.
Yeah, I never quite finalized him, but I wasn't like I was saying to you before the show started. Like it seemed like with Amari Washington, everybody was in one of two camps where you're either like top 10 on your big board high, or he's like fringe, round two, like day two player. And the little that I did watch, I thought he was more in that day two bucket for me. That Iowa game was rough. So yeah, I mean, I'm not upset with him returning to school. I mean, Oregon is doing a great job keeping that D line together. Mateo, Ukulele, go back to school. So
and the other edge went back too. I can't remember his name, but so they returned.
I can't pronounce it, but I know who you're talking about. The DPR, yeah.
Yeah. The whole class is DP. Anyway,
not that narrows it down as much.
Thank you.
That could cover like 20 guys in this class.
That is every edge in the.
Oh yeah, the DPR.
But yeah, no. So and it's kind of funny because with Washington and Mateo, they were both guys where I feel like a lot of people are really excited for them to go back. I think they're going to be really good at the college level. Going back, I think it's going to be a really big year for both of them. But they were both guys where I was like, oh, that's probably a good call. They were probably advised to go back because I didn't think either of them. Too. Yeah, well, like Bear Alexander.
Yeah, I never watched him, so I don't.
I refuse to because he's gonna get 9 years on his own way. No COVID, no nothing. He's just gonna grind his way out to 9 years and 12 schools.
There you go.
Goodness gracious. Bear Alexander is like. I read a tweet today about Patrick Payton, who I remember summer scouting Patrick Payton for the 2024 class. I think, or did I watch his 2024 film? Either way, he's going on year. This is I don't know.
The NIL days of scouting are getting. We're in the trenches here. Like you're watching 4 years of tape on a guy just to get a 7th round grade on him.
I know I was talking to you the other day about how I was gonna because I summer scouted guys and then I watched their 25 tape and now they're going back and they're players I don't think are that good. So I'm gonna have like 3 years of film watched on day 3 players and it's just like that's good I guess, but it's like not worth much. But anyway, that's the Oregon defensive line returning, which I think is going to be really good for Oregon, but maybe, I'm just not really impressed by any of the players. So we'll be interested to see them, and I guess I can delay their film and just summer scout them. But let's talk about this interior defensive line class. I'll let you kick us off at the bottom. I know we're pretty similar throughout the way, but I think I liked your list better as far as what we're trying to accomplish here by talking through the top consensus guys and the guys that you're going to be seeing all over your timeline or hearing on ESPN or NFL Network or whatever. We want to hit the big names first. And then as we get into the process, we'll talk to you about some of the actually good players in this class. The guys that we love that are going to be, stars and all pros as rookies. I mean, just, the cream of the crop.
We'll hit one of those guys in this episode. I think probably one of both of our favorites from this class is still, if we're going to talk about in this episode, is still like in the 150s on the consensus board, I think, last time I checked.
There are two guys in the group that we're going to talk about today that I'm going to be inappropriately high on the entire draft cycle. And I'm okay with that. So anyway, I'll let you kick it off.
Kick it off with the first player that we think everybody else is inappropriately high on. That is Caden McDonald out of Ohio State, the nose tackle that seems to have taken like the whole draft media conglomerate by storm by the past like month and a half, 6 weeks. You see that the NFLSC guys are really high on him. You see the The not to call anybody out because everybody has preferences and evaluating.
Literally everyone's high on him.
Everybody loves Caden McDonald. We're the problem. Me and Parker.
Yep.
So it's just they're obviously the biggest platform. It's the first one that comes to mind. But you see, I think Brugler was high on him in the most recent thing. Like all the big name guys are loving Caden McDonald.
Seeing where he lands in the beast is going to be so.
It's going to be fun.
Good. Yeah.
And I turned on the tape. I wanted to see it so bad because, again, for me, spoiler alert, I don't have a first round grade on any guys in this class right now. I still like all of them. I think they're solid players. I just don't have anybody as that like game changing, player worth a first rounder to me. And McDonald is probably the biggest head scratcher to me. The one getting the most like first round hype. We're seeing this guy climb into like the teens level in mock drafts.
Inappropriately high, as you said.
And yeah, if you're taking a guy there, like he's got to be. Similar to the DPR thing we talked about last episode, where like you have to be more than a one-dimensional player to be taken that high. To me, and I have seen 40-11 Caden McDonald's in my time, and in my albeit short time. If that tells you how common of a player, common arch time, arch type of a player he is. I just like monster frame. He's every bit of that 330, if not a little bit more. I think he carries it relatively well. The hands are really powerful. The anchor is impenetrable. Like you're not moving him off the point of attack. And he's going to plug gaps and shed really, really well for you. Awesome run defender. But I just don't think he brings a whole lot more than that. Out of the quality interior offensive lines he played, the Penn States, the Indianas, all the quality guard and the centers, you just didn't see any pass rush tape that I saw. There was no NFL pass rushing tape that against a quality opponent that I could put to mind. It's just, it's a bull rush that's not very effective. Is kind of the only move that there is. And I don't see much pass rush chops at the college level, much less than I can project to the NFL, and again, much less than a first rounder. So I just think he's your run-of-the-mill, nose tackle, one tech that can, shed really well and has an awesome anchor and is just going to plug gaps, for Caden McDonald's going to play for a decade. I've still got a late second-round grade on this guy. I don't mean to sound like I'm just, hate the player because he's a good player and he's going to play in the league for the next, like I said, decade, 15 years. But it's just going to be as a one-dimensional run defender to me. I just don't see what he does much outside of that.
Yeah. There's a number of guys I've already watched in this class, in this position group, that like you turn the tape on and the mass surprises you. Like the first couple plays you watch is like, whoa, kind of like it kind of reminded me of like watching Sweat, but like, not to that scale, obviously, but it was like the number of guys where I turn it on and be like, whoa, like it's a beefcake we got in the middle. But I agree 100%. He brings zero, and I know. And the reason I bring that up is because I feel like there's a lot of very nose tackle-esque players in this class that I like and that I watched. Just these bigger bodies that they're going to primarily stuff the run or stop the run or play the run or whatever it is. Which I think is funny because I feel like, the NFL is cyclical, football is cyclical. And these guys get cycled in and out of the league. Like they become very premium targets for a number of years, anywhere 2 to 5 to 6 years, and then all of a sudden they're vanishing. You're watching teams just shed them off of rosters. They have they just cycle in and out. And I feel like the last time we cycled back into, I'm trying to remember what year it was, but I remember Siaki Ika was like the tail end of the last like phasing out of defensive tackles, where the Browns pick him up, they shed him. That's really all he was. And now here we are again. The NFL's run heavy, yada, yada, yada. But the nose tackle is back. All that to say, the way that people are talking about Caden McDonald, and he has, I feel like, zero pass rush juice whatsoever. Like, I feel like he has the bull rush is fun. When he gets a center really on skates, he can swim by and the hands can look fun. They can flash. But I needed to see a lot more out of the run defense, out of a true nose tackle, big body like this. I was not impressed by anything he did. I'm probably I'm very jaded from the Iowa game. Not that I weight any game heavier than any other game, but he got dominated. Like he was getting just rolled off the line of scrimmage in that game. And so I don't know. Again, people are talking about him top 10. I agree with you. I think he's gonna find a home because the type of player and just where NFL defense is right now. But yeah, again, people are talking about him being like a top 10 guy, top 15 guy, and I just don't understand why. And I would love for someone to tell me or explain to me why or tell me what I'm missing. But that's my long ramble to say it's a fun nose tackle class, and I love a couple of noses that we saw, these big bodies that can actually move really well. And you're going to find multiple Cade McDonald's in this class. There will be more Cade McDonald's in next year's class. Like just very, like you said, very run of the mill. That's a power 4 nose tackle. Thank you for coming to the draft.
Yeah, that just kind of sums it up. It's not interesting analysis necessarily, but it feels like we are grasping it, much like a lot of the position groups in this class. It feels like we're grasping at straws to find somebody to be excited about, just because this class is not very exciting. But he's just a generic guy to me. And moving on to somebody I think you are a little bit higher than me on. Another, I don't like calling anything from summer scouting a miss, just because like these guys haven't played in the NFL yet. I don't see how it can be a miss. But it does feel like
bust culture nowadays. They'll call them a bust on draft night. So,
but it feels like the entirety of all of my top 10 grades from the summer are just out the window now. And Peter Woods, the defensive tackle from Clemson, is just the newest edition of that. Somebody who everybody, most of the NFL conglomerate had this guy as like top 5, number 1 overall grades coming into the year. He was projected to be the number 1 overall prospect. And much like a lot of Clemson's roster this year, he just did not live up to the hype. He was definitely one of the most disappointing to me from that unit, just because like not only the difference in tape, because obviously he was, it was top 5 caliber tape. Like there was a reason he had all hype at the end of the year. But it's also, it's the linear regression. Because to me, we talk about year-to-year regression all the time and how much you weight it versus somebody has a good 2023. And then, on the draft year, I don't want to pull out 2023 as a random year, but like your year before the tape that you're coming out of the draft cycle from is good. The next year is bad, like Will Levis, just Titans guy. That's the first thing that's going to come to mind when I think about it. But, awesome year before his draft cycle. And then, less so the year before that, then lowers a lot of people on him. There's injury concerns. I'm getting off a huge tangent here, but that's the thing that boils down to my personal philosophy as an evaluator, where like if the year before your draft is bad, I'm going to be basically completely out on you. And Peter Woods is that, but it's almost magnified because there's been a clear linear regression every single year. It doesn't just date back to last year. It's 2 years before that. It's like his first year was the best, and then last year was still great, but not as good. And this year was a major step down. So a very long-winded, explanation of Peter Woods has just been steadily getting worse in college. And I have a hard time projecting somebody like that to the next level when they're already getting worse in college. So all that to say, all that hating on him, just to say there is still a lot of things to love about him as a prospect. Like the athleticism in his frame, 310-ish pounds in the interior. Guys that move like him at 310 do not come around often. Like the first step is wicked. The twitch is incredible. None of the movement skills changed.
They call him an edge on the roster. They're still.
But it's basically, that's like that's what he played a lot of stand-up edge last year, which was more just testament to his athleticism. And he played much more typical, hand in the dirt 3-tech this year. And I just feel like, again, the movement skills are all still there, but I thought there were some effort issues as the year went on, which is another major turnoff to me as an evaluator. But it was just like the run defense was another thing that fell off a cliff to me. The anchor was just a complete collapse comparing last year to this year. I thought he got washed off the point of attack way too often. I still think he shedded, relatively well, but again, it was just not as good as it was last year. And as a pass rusher, the arsenal is still fun. He's got a great club rip. He's got a great club swim, a lot of power in his hands. But it just felt like everything bumped like a tier down to me in run defense and as a pass rusher. I definitely thought there was a bigger hit to run defense than there was in the as a rusher. But just overall, I felt like his game took a major step down. I've still got him, ranked as a day 2 guy just because I can't quit on what the tape was at one point, regardless of how strongly I feel about that. And the athletic traits are still there, but it really, really concerns me when you see this level of decline from a player while they're still in college.
I feel like I've spent the last week, or at least the weekend, riding the Peter Woods defense train in the Bengals community, because I mean he's where he's going regularly in mocks is around the 10th pick, so he's been on the mind lately. But I do. First off, I want to start with so I say that because I feel like so much of this class so far has been trying to cool people off of players, not because they're bad players, but because I just think with the quality of the class, some of the top end guys just aren't. I mean, there's going to be guys that go in the first round this year that wouldn't have gone. They would have been mid to late second rounders last year. But that's just this kind of the state of the class. But I don't know. Woods is a guy that I feel like so many people have cooled on. I've heard some people talk about how they don't think, or they've heard that he just doesn't have any pass rush juice, which I don't agree with at all.
That's too far. No pass rush juice is crazy.
They're like, yeah, I feel like he's not. But anyway, so I was in that conversation tonight, and I just feel anyway that is crazy to me because I feel like he has shown a lot, just not even this year, but again over the course of his career, and I think kind of what feels like him stepping down is again, I feel like he's been bumping inside. He has been bumping inside more and is an interior guy now, like a true interior guy now. But I feel like he's found his role. Like he's I think he's a good run defender. Like I have him as a very highly graded run defender, which is why I really haven't been able to quit him because a guy that can really play true 3-tech and win his one-on-one in multiple scenarios and different situations, whether it's run versus pass. I feel like he can. I feel like he can win a one-on-one at the college level regularly. He can beat a collegiate guard on a regular basis. So I feel like he's found his role. I don't think he's the penetrator that he used to be, but I also think it's because he understands that he can't in that scenario. Like you don't want a B gap player that's going to consistently be just sprinting into the backfield against the run. But again, I feel like he's a plus run defender. I feel like he's above average pass rusher. Like I do feel like he's a very good and well-rounded prospect. Like I feel like you're going to get a lot. Again, I think he's going to play in the league for a very long time. I would be happy with him at 10. Just the way I feel like the board's going to fall. I don't get me started, but I'll talk about Ruben Bain for another hour. Obviously being the premier defensive lineman in this class, but I do think Peter Woods has an argument to be probably the next defensive lineman off the board, if not one of the next 2 or 3 offensive linemen off the board in the class, depending on how the top 10 goes. But anyway, that's my rant. I do think Peter Woods is good. I feel like I've spent a lot of time this cycle already cooling people off of certain prospects just because not that I don't think they're good players. Just like Caden McDonald. I don't think he's a bad football player. I don't think he's undraftable. I just don't I'm seeing top 10 hype on him, and I don't see anything near that. But Peter Woods is a guy that I don't know. We'll see how that cycle goes. I might end up standing on the table for him come draft time, but right now I'm not going to. But I do think he is worthy of going top 10. I think he will go top 10. Really good interior guy. Not one of my favorites in this group, but he is really highly rated for me, just in the class so far and on my board. So big Peter Woods guy, I guess, according to my Twitter timeline and probably my mocks for the future, because I will be drafting him at 10 until the simulator doesn't let me, or I find a guy that I just fall in love with in this class that's reasonable for the Bengals. But yeah, hope to see Woods in stripes, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's an important thing to point out, because I did it with guys last year, like we talked about, like Will Campbell and Kelvin Banks, and with me it was Tedero McMillan, where I come across like I hate these players because I'm constantly talking about the negatives in their profile. But it's really like all of those guys were still top, or I guess Banks was a little bit lower, but most of those guys were still all top 50 players for me. Like I still think they're all great prospects. I think that the general consensus is a lot higher for reasons that they shouldn't be. So I'm constantly pointing out the negatives in their profiles, but I don't want it to come across like I hate all these players. When I say like a step down from last year's Peter Woods is still better than 99% of defensive tackles out there all the time. So like that, Peter Woods worse than 2024 Peter Woods is still a very good prospect. I just don't think he's quite the caliber that I had him in the summer. but yeah, all of that to say, mid-day 2 guy for me right now. All the same points we both hit earlier.
I had Woods
player, just not quite as
number one on my board coming out of the summer. That's like
that was pretty much everybody.
The step back is like
I think he was 3 for me.
You didn't really have anywhere to step forward. So I don't be like I agree 100%. Like just don't be like shocked by like he took a step back. He didn't really have anywhere like he was the top of the top coming in. So I think him stepping back is again just people figuring him out. There's people that have tape on him now. College offensive linemen have tape on him now, but his role also changed, and he's still extremely highly rated. So, yeah. Anyway, Big Peter was good.
And kicking from Woods to another guy that similar to McDonald is taking on a massive hype train as we get into Senior Bowl territory now with the draft cycle kicking up, and that is Texas Tech defensive lineman Lee Hunter, or nose tackle, I guess. He's very much in the same frame and role as Caden McDonald, but Lee Hunter is
big old boy.
Yeah, we talk about every bit of 330. I'd probably bet closer to 350. That dude is off the bus big. He's I don't know. You can't really talk about the frame enough. Like this guy the stature is just like imposing on the interior.
Again,
and he's got everything.
The tape on and like we were watching the edges. Like we were watching. I think we were watching David Bailey together. Mm-hmm. We were watching the Oregon game, and I think it was like a handful of plays.
Who is that guy?
I was like, who the hell is number 2?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, Lee Hunter. And I'm like, that's the guy I've been like procrastinating watching. I'm like, this dude is massive. Like, what the?
Yeah. So, and he's got every bit of the run profile that comes with that size. He is, everything you want in a run defender. As a nose tackle, he eats gaps as well as he should for that size. The anchor, he's not going to move to the point of attack by double teams. He's able to just anchor through them. He sheds really well. I think, he is every bit of the run defender is Caden McDonald, but he has more prospect to him, in my opinion. He does have now up until the playoffs, I would have probably had him in the same bucket because I thought most of the regular season tape, there was not a lot of pass rush use. But he showed some unique things against Oregon. And there were a couple games towards the later season. So I should just say as the season went on towards late in the year is really when the pass rush chops.
He really hit a groove.
Really got hot as the year went on. But in addition to all the run defense, I mean, he does. I wouldn't call him like, Peter Woods level athlete, but he's got some damn solid explosiveness for the size that he is, and some get off with the ball snapped. As far as pass rush moves, like he's got very just relentless, active, powerful hands. Really moves guys off the point of attack. On the offensive side of the ball. With that, I think he's got long arms. I don't know what exactly he'll test like. I don't think we have any sort of numbers on that, but he just looks and plays long on tape. And he's got people call him like a limited arsenal, and actually I think he's got one of the more flushed out pass rush tool bags as far as this interior class goes, especially for a guy of his size. But he's got a really he's got an awesome push pull that I thought he flashed a lot, which is not something I think I see enough out of in interior guys. He's got a great club rip, great club swim. The bull rush has the power you would think for a guy of his size. So I think, like I said, he really caught fire at the end of the year. I thought he showed an impressive pass rushing bag, and along with all the run capability that should come with a player of his profile. So I mean, Hunter, he's a very, very complete prospect. I just don't think he has the overwhelming pass rush presence quite yet for me to be considered a round 1 defensive tackle for me. He's just not quite there as a pass rusher. But he's one of the closer ones to that out of this group for me right now. So I wouldn't be shocked at all. I think Lee Hunter probably deserves to be a first rounder in this draft class. But just not quite there for a first round grade for me yet. But I did really, really enjoy his tape. I think he's one of the better players of this group. And I am of the Lee Hunter fan club.
I think I dropped him in my mock today. Didn't I?
Yeah, I think he was Bears, right? 27? Is that where you have?
Bears, yeah. I just really like that fit, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I agree 100%. Dude, Lee, that tape was just fun to watch because I thought he was so I always cringe when I say it, so I have to just put a disclaimer out there. I always make fun of people that say for his size because I'm a big I think I've said a lot with Caden Proctor this year talking to people about it, but when you say a guy's athletic for his size, that's just saying he's not athletic and he's a big guy. because that's what it's saying. That's what you're saying. You're saying he's not athletic, but like he still moves well because he's a big guy. But I think when you say it with Lee Hunter, I feel like you're reminding people because the way he moves, he doesn't move like he's a big guy, in my opinion. I think he's very violent. He's got the 325-pound frame.
There's no way that's real. He's got to be 340. Official Senior Bowl measurement.
This is like Caden Proctor weighing 350.
Yeah,
instead of 450. But no, he's going to weigh in heavy, and I just think it makes it more impressive because I think has some real good up and go, and like it's not even just like bursting into gaps or like jumping over, slanting or stunning or whatever it might be. He'll get hands on a guy and like sprint through them at a very high rate of speed. Like he hits his bull rush and he gets dudes moving backwards. But yeah, just an impressively strong play. He's a Senior Bowl guy for sure. I haven't checked on the roster.
I mean, pull up to make sure of that.
Because I would love to see him down at the Senior Bowl, whether it's in the one-on-ones or the pods. I don't know how the broadcast. I've never watched the Senior Bowl broadcast. Just the clips on Twitter, which I'm sure is most people, but they do pods with the O-line, D-line, where it's 2 offensive linemen and 1 defensive lineman. It's really just to work, double teams and anchor, like test anchor and different techniques. Anyway, but he is going to dominate the pods if he is in Mobile because
he has officially accepted the invite, so he'll be there.
Oh yeah, I need somebody to get me footage of Lee Hunter during the run pods because he's going because not to knock any player ever, but the offensive linemen down at the Senior Bowl aren't these top guys in the country or top guys in the draft. Like you didn't have Joe Alt running pods down in Mobile. So Lee Hunter is gonna shine during that period. So I definitely need somebody's got to get eyes on that for me because I'm not able to make it this year. But that's going to be awesome. Excited to see that tape. Anyway, that's my intro, I guess. But Lee Hunter's a dude, man. Just an incredible, again, violent run defender, runs his feet well. I think he's good at running down plays. I mean, he's obviously not chasing C gap to C gap, but whether it's a counter the opposite way that he's running down behind a puller or it's duo and he penetrates, is able to get a couple gaps over and get hands on a guy, or it's a quarterback spin out of the pocket and he's rushing through the guard, he gets his hand out. Like, I don't know what he's going to measure in at, but the arms aren't crazy long, but he's able, when he gets a paw on a dude, he affects their trajectory. So, but yeah, just overall, just a guy I loved watching. I didn't have a crazy high grade on him. Again, I dropped him in the first round today, so I guess I'm probably above consensus, but overall my grade wasn't that high. Just a guy I would love on my football team because just a super high motor. Again, physicality and the size and the athleticism just is an awesome combo to watch on the field. He obviously has his lumps. I think he plays a little tall. That's something you're worried about with sweat, which ended up, I guess you probably speak better to that, but something that really bothered me with his profile. And it's really what knocked Lee Hunter for me. And I didn't think that he was explosive off the ball. I think he can slant well. I think he can stunt well, but I think sometimes he kind of sits up and tries to read out a guy and feel out a guy, which really delays his pass rush, which I think really hurts that profile, that part of his profile. I think overall, if he ended up on my team, I would not be upset in any way because just an awesome player to watch. He'll probably end up, I don't know, I would love to hear your thoughts. I guess you kind of went over your grade, but where do you think he goes? Do you think he's an early day 2 guy? Do you think he's a round 3 guy? Like, where do you think he realistically goes in the draft?
I think and obviously it's difficult to project these things this early, but if the pace continues on where it is right now, and I imagine the Senior Bowl will only bump up his draft stock among the league, I think his floor is like first handful of picks on day 2. I would be really surprised if he doesn't slip into the back end of round 1. I think he deserves to in this class. But yeah, I think he's an outstanding player. I think as we roll around to April, he will be, I would guess, probably IDL 2, maybe 3 at that point. Yeah, I would not be shocked at all to see him within the top 3 of nose tackles or defensive tackles in general taken off the board.
The 2 potentials of the Seahawks getting him at 32 would be a blast, or I guess 31 or whatever they end up at late day 1, which I don't feel like a lot of people are going to project that, but that'd be awesome. But then
it's like I've only seen corner there.
What are the odds that Ruben Bain goes 4 and Lee Hunter goes early in the second round to Nashville?
I mean, again, I don't want to sound like I'm low on the guy because I love Lee Hunter, but I hate that fit. I mean, it's just like Tennessee has. I mean, you're getting 2 Devondre Sweats. Devondre Sweat is currently my running comp for Lee Hunter.
That's like
you've got. It feels like just like an embarrassment of riches at one position. Like we currently have 2 corners, or no, one 2 corners projected to return on contracts. That's it. They're one of them is a 6th round rookie from last year. Then one of them is a waiver claim. So you've got like basically the corner, the receiver. And this is not a Titans episode at all. I don't mean to get off on a tangent here. But a defensive tackle. We'll cover this actually pretty soon on a Titans offseason project. So stick around for that. But like you've got 2 of the best in the league there. You got probably one of the best duos on the interior in the entire league. You got to send that pick to other positions. But I mean, the idea of a Jeffrey Simmons, Lee Hunter, Devondre Sweat defensive interior rotation is fun to think about.
I think that's just in my brain that would be a blast. They should not at all come anywhere close to that, but that would be an absolute blast.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's my take on Hunter. But I guess go check out my first round mock that dropped today. I suppose all 32 teams.
There you
go. He did slide in there. I do believe to the Bears because I just love that
I think it was
fit with what they're doing up there. So yeah.
Yeah, so moving on from Hunter into kind of the last of the consensus top guys here out of this group, and that is I don't even know if you can really call him that. It feels like he's creeping into that territory at this point. But I don't think he's quite caught up there on the consensus board. But that is Florida defensive tackle Caleb Banks, another guy who I actually had him over Peter Woods on my summer board. He was one of the only players over Peter Woods. I loved his tape last year. And he is currently my defensive tackle 1 in this class. Not quite a first round grade, but he's very, very close. The injury was such a bummer this year. Only getting to see like 90 snaps from him total this year was a real killer. And they weren't really high quality snaps either. The offensive lines he played were pretty rough. So there wasn't a whole lot to glean from those games, in my opinion. But Banks, I mean, he's got the awesome pass rush profile that I think the rest of this class is really just missing to me. Like he's got just like hammers for hands. He's throwing guys around like they're not there. He's got really the one like game-changing bull rush that I think out of this group that you see like you can really collapse pockets from the interior. He's got an awesome push-pull. He probably flashed like the best hump move that I've seen out of anybody in this class. Like he had some really, really awesome highlight reps where guys like he just is able to manipulate offensive linemen's momentum in a way that a lot of people aren't, just because the upper body strength with him is outrageous. I think he's not quite the caliber run defender that everybody else is on this list, so I imagine he's probably lower for you than he is for me. But I still think he's a solid run defender. Like I don't think this is a guy you're worried about having on the field on early downs, but he's just more of a pretty good run defender at 3-tech rather than an elite gap plugger or something. I still think he can shed okay enough. I do think he gets pushed off the point of attack by double teams, a little bit too often for a guy you're taking in this range. The anchor isn't where I want it to be. But again, the pass rush is just really too enticing with him. The only highlighted negative that I have on his scouting report is just this guy could not tackle a tire in the drill. It is some of the worst tackling that I have ever seen. I have watched, and my board is only approaching 50-ish deep at this current moment, but in that 50, I have watched some awful tacklers in this class. Like it's an epidemic
everywhere.
Like it's
oh my goodness.
There are awful tacklers all over college, and Banks managed to be up there with the worst of them. So that is like day one. Have to clean that up in camp as a rookie. But again, like if I'm gonna, that feels like kind of a nitpicky flaw where it comes to some of these guys who have like foundational flaws as pass rushers. He doesn't have that. It's just teach this guy how to tackle at the NFL level. But yeah, overall, early second round grade for me. My DT1, extremely excited to see him in Mobile in some of these one-on-ones. He's going to dominate the one-on-one passing drills when they get there, or the pass rush drills. So yeah, really excited to see him in Mobile. I think he'll finish as my 1 if I had to guess. But again, it's a tight knit group, but he's definitely my current favorite out of the group.
I love that he's your 1. Because that's, I mean, I think it's cooled off now significantly, but I remember there was a lot of conversation early in the cycle, Woods versus Banks, even post injury, just because of the dynamic athlete that he is. And I feel like, I mean, I have him graded as a better run defender than Caden McDonald, but that's just because of what he brings to the table and the versatility that he has. Because Caden McDonald's giving you one thing, and if you hit him with a good double, then you've kind of eliminated him for the most part, in my opinion. Whereas Caleb Banks, like you have to kind of have a plan for Caleb Banks, as in my opinion, as a run blocker, just because he can. I mean, like you said, he's got legitimate. People say there's a lot of these D-line offensive linemen have, powerful hands, C4 in their hands. This dude brings it, man. Like this dude's punch is insane.
Different level of pop.
He is denting. Like it feels like he has flashes of like what Ruben Bain does in the run game, like with his hands, like the pop that comes out of his hands. Because he's shutting down interior guys. Like it is nothing. I mean, then obviously it falls apart at times, but overall, and then again, the athleticism, like he can pair that with, he can shoot a gap really well. He can penetrate on some of these, wide zone schemes. Like he's able to not only dent the line of scrimmage, but he can penetrate and slide behind some of these guys and clear hands well enough. And I was actually impressed. The hand usage and versatility as a pass rusher is good and it's fun to watch and it keeps the film interesting. But I think he's really starting to lean towards jack of all trades, master of none type pass rusher, which I typically, if you're gonna, I hate that with an interior guy. Like I want an interior pass rusher to have like 2 moves that they are like when they pull them out, it works. Where I feel like, again, you have to really plan for Caleb Banks. Like he's a kind of a trickier defensive lineman to handle. But at the same time, that kind of makes him easier to deal with because you can kind of have a couple moves ready for him. And you saw like when he kind of got countered well, when people just beat him to the point or got hands on him early, it really shuts him down. But I think as a pass rusher, he has a really good plan and he does a good way of stringing moves together. Like I'm glad you brought up the hump move because there's a couple reps where he's tossing guys with that thing. Because again, he kind of you hear about speed to power on the edge all the time, but on the interior, he's like one of the rare mixes that he loves mixing up. Like he's going to show a bull rush and then again work into a hump move, work into a really violent club, like as a secondary move, which is just again awesome to watch. But yeah, I'm a big fan. The injury, the injury sucked, and the film, I wasn't really moved by his 25 film, so I guess this is really a heavy 24 grade for Caleb.
It's kind of the same with me. But again, how much can you really be moved by like 90 snaps in 25?
Like nothing happened, but it is what it is. But
and again, I want to point out the injury. It's much more of a Jermod McCoy situation where it's just like the injury takes away. Like we just didn't get to see him in 25 because of it. It's not anything chronic. But it's not something that's going to bleed into his draft profile. It's just we didn't get to see this guy.
And he's going to be healthy. Like he's going to be available.
Yeah, he'll be healthy in plenty of time. Same with McCoy.
So. It's like he might be a combine guy. Actually, like he's been.
I mean, he should. He was basically. I mean, he was back for the last 3 weeks of the college season, basically fully healthy. It was just.
Well, I guess if you said he's going to Mobile, like he'll be ready.
Yeah, he's good to go
now.
Yeah, he's good to go.
Anyway, but I think it says a lot about him that because there's guys that how do I say this without sounding like a dick? But there's guys that get hurt that you're kind of just like, oh, that sucks for like his eval process. But I was really pumped to watch Caleb Banks this year.
Yeah.
And that was like, I think that says a lot about his profile. But I think, he was a huge bummer because he's so dynamic in the flashes that he shows. Like he's a really fun player. So again, another guy that is, I think he's going to dominate the pods. I think he's going to dominate one-on-ones. Like he's going to be a standout. Like there's going to be a lot of day one Senior Bowl standout articles written about Caleb Banks. But I think the Peter Woods conversation was very valid over the summer with Caleb Banks. And we already talked about how high we had Peter Woods coming into the year out of the summer. So yeah, again, just really fun player that really excited to see the Senior Bowl tape on him. But
yeah,
let's get to the funnest part of this.
This is the real meat and potatoes of this episode.
Because this is two guys that I'm going to get laughed off the stage for the next, 3 months, 3.5 months, because of where I have these two guys. And
they might laugh at you into the summer for these.
I'm so okay with that because they're going to pan out. I want to stand on the table for it. I have these two guys. Yeah, I have them rated so highly. I have to stand on the table for it, but I believe in it because the film, I'm so excited to hear where you have them, but the film was freaking awesome. I could have watched both of these players play. Like, I could have watched the film all day. Love it. Absolutely love it. But I'll let you introduce. I don't remember who you want to talk about first. I think we want to talk about the guy to Miami first, but.
Yeah, we absolutely. We can put them in really any order because I think they kind of fit a similar bill for where we're talking about them. But funnily enough, I guess they're both technically still sleepers right now. I guess less so one of the guys. But one player out of Miami, like you just hinted to, is Ahmad Moten, who is currently still like firmly in day 3 range on the consensus board. Is my defensive tackle 4 right now with a mid-second round grade. This guy is outstanding. Probably the most, maybe not more than Banks, but probably the second most fun watch to me out of this group. There are certain players when when you evaluate, to me, it's more of a gut feel than anything almost. But you watch a guy, and in the first handful of snaps, you get a feel for how he moves. Like, does this guy move like an NFL player? And within the first 2 or 3 snaps of watching him on mode, you can tell this guy moves like an NFL defensive tackle. And like, it felt like you just like, I'm constantly wanting, okay, maybe one more game, because you just want to keep getting like evaluatable reps from this guy because the tape is so much fun to watch. Moten, for my money, is probably the best athlete of this group, I think, if not right there tied with the guy we're going to talk about next. Incredibly twitchy on the interior. Ahmad Moten, he's not the best run defender out of this group. In fact, I think he's probably the worst that we've talked about so far. But I mean, again, he's playing a different role than most of these guys. Ahmad Moten is much more of the pass rushing 3-tech than most of the nose tackle guys we've talked about so far, at least in my eyes. And for that role, I think he's a solid run defender. Like, this guy's going to win his one-on-ones in run defense. He's got a solid enough anchor to do that. He's played like a very, very long player. I'm excited to see the official measurements on him because he plays and looks a very, very long frame. Powerful, active hands, like we keep talking about. Not that Caleb Banks level powerful. I don't want to spread that term too generally, but he does have pop in his hands. The explosion, the get off, at his size, or that 310, same general size as Peter Woods ish to me. It looked like, but also got a great club swim. I think he's got a very, very unique bag as a rusher for on the interior. But the twitch and the athleticism to me is just what pops so much compared to the rest of this class for me with Moten. And again, I think he's a pass rushing 3-tech that really excels in that role and is a good enough run defender to make himself a 3-down player at the NFL level. I actually have not gotten around to the playoff tape, which I'm excited to do at some point with him. I've only watched the regular season. But yeah, I mean, I can't really speak highly enough of Moten compared to where most people are talking about him right now. I just think he's crazy sleeper right now in this class.
Yeah, no, I watched the Miami film really early. Like, I think I only watched maybe the first couple games of the playoff for Miami, just because I mean, based on what everyone was saying, I'm like, oh, these guys are going to be, I'll let them get a couple rounds in and then they'll probably be out. So I just immediately, like, I think it was that Saturday or Sunday, I watched that film from the first 2 rounds. I watched the whole season in those games, and Miami's still rolling. So I'm kind of excited to get back into guys like Moten and Messidor and Bain. But yeah, Moten's a blast. I think Moten's the exception to so many of like my standards and rules for defensive line evaluation, which is fun because as you can already tell, I mean, I prefer guys that are, plus, to excellent run defenders. The pass rush is awesome, but I prefer denting a pocket and pushing a pocket opposed to, these guys that are going to, at the college level, just beat off of finesse and speed and bag and whatever. just because I think it translates better. I'm a big floor guy, as I will always talk about, but I think it's safer. But Moten just like goes, man. And like you said, the diversity in his pass rush from an interior player is just awesome. And he always has a plan. Like he's going in there and he has 2-3 moves locked and loaded, ready to go off the snap every down, every snap. Like
he's kind of like one of those like wind up toys, not to cut you off, like one of the wind ups that you just charge him up and he just flies and he's wherever he's pointing. It's just, I was
kind of like thinking like the best like comparison, because I was gonna say like the Energizer Bunny, but it's not even like that, because it just doesn't. It's, I think a wind up toy is perfect because like he gets set and then just until the whistle blow. And again, it's not even like as a pass rusher, as a run defender, but like he's chasing down screens. He's
oh yeah, the pursuit is everywhere.
Like what? Like the camera will pan, like you're watching the end zone angle, the camera pans away, and then you just see him come flying in from the middle of the field. And I'm just like, where is this dude coming from? But it just, again, just a blast to watch. The motor is awesome. Like the hand fighting is great. The run defense is good enough. I think the hands are good enough. Again, just since he's such a good hand fighter, has such a bag, he makes it work against the run. There are times where it feels like I triple checked his weight, because if there was times it felt like he was playing really like under his weight class. Like there was times he was getting bumped off of stuff, and like you catch him with a good gallop and he's gonna move pretty significantly. But if he's able to beat the initial hands in the run game, he's there and he's making the play. He's getting a hand on it. And he just goes. And again, just explosive off the ball. I'm just like, my grade him just makes me laugh. But I have him currently as the highest graded pass rusher of the group. Just because, again, the feet don't stop, which is a big thing for me as a pass rusher, because in the NFL, you can't be 1-2 moves and done. You have to not only run your feet through the rush, but you have to have active hands. And again, he checks all of those boxes. Like you said, you turn on the film and he's an NFL defensive lineman. Like, he's going to be in the NFL. I think his floor is just so high. I do worry he might have a limited ceiling. I don't know how much better he's really going to get. I don't know how much bigger he's going to get. I don't know how much stronger he's going to get. I don't know how translatable his current strength is to the NFL level, especially with how the NFL game is played nowadays right now. But the floor, like, he is going to be a day one contributor for somebody. And I would stamp that in a heartbeat. Like, he's going to be a guy you're hearing about from whoever's camp. He's going to be flashing. He's going to be flashing in the preseason. Like, he's going to be a dude for somebody. And I'm excited to see where he lands, just because it's such a universal play style that he has. Like, I don't think any team, I don't think he's not a fit for anybody. I'm just really interested to see how people deploy him, because again, he has he has warts against the run, and with how run heavy of a league it is and how light he can look at times, even though he's 300 plus. I do worry about that. But again, if you're looking for pass rush juice in this defensive interior class, and again, all the Bengals discourse I have, this is one I've been waiting to, I'm still kind of sitting on to unleash, because I don't know if I'm ready to put him on day 2 yet, which, with how high I am on him, I should just be all over it right now. But now it's on video, so it's real now. It's
there you go. Yeah, it's out there. Can think about it.
But yeah, I got to pull these clips forever. But I really have no idea where to put him, because I feel like PFF is so low on him compared to where I am. And I haven't really seen anybody really pound the table for him like I have been lately. And you can call me a wuss, but I just don't want to be like that early, that high on this guy until at least after the college football playoff, because I just want to finish, if they're playing in the Natty. So I just want to finish the tape. There's 2 more games, and I really want to watch those 2 games in big moments, and against top level opponents. But
I'll see him against the Indiana Center.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it against Coogan, because I've already watched Coogan. Well, again, I have to finish his season now, but yeah, I mean, Miami's offensive line, I don't know what Moton's going to see that he doesn't see literally every day. So I don't know what I'm really waiting for, but just I want to get these last 2 games done so I can say I finished the season, and then it's going to be everywhere because I am crazy high on this guy, which is funny because he's not even rated higher than the guy we haven't talked about already. But I am a huge fan of Ahmad Moton out of Miami, number 99. Watch for him this weekend. He's going to be a monster. I promise.
Yeah. And going on that last note, I think poetically I should just let you introduce the last guy because like he's a player that everybody's heard about all throughout the summer. It's not like we have some crazy. I think Ahmad Moton is probably the bigger sleeper of the group. This guy's still just people are lower on him than we are. But it seems like there's a special relationship between you and this guy. There's a sacredness here that I feel like I should let you introduce him.
I know you making it sound like I know the guy. No, I think it's funny because I truly believe, like, I am 100% legitimately, like, I've graded him high. Like the number next to his name that I'm staring at right now is very high. But I really feel like a lot of like the reason he's climbing boards and people know of him is because of his nickname and his last name. And you will never convince me that, these draft boards, these mock draft simulators, like that will jump a guy a decent amount of spots just because people are going to start picking him. And that affects, I mean, PFF, that's tied into PFF, like their board, it has public bias in it. And anyway, but all that to say, I'm still higher on him than everybody else. I know, I promise you, if you can find someone higher than me on Dominique Orange of Iowa State, I'll pay you a significant amount of money because I have a first round grade on him. I think he's the best defensive tackle that I've watched so far. I have, what did I say, 9, including Amari Washington watched so far, which I guess isn't a lot for a class, but I feel like I feel like we've seen the top of the class. Like we talked about earlier, I haven't watched Zane Durant, who I've heard, but you hadn't. So I guess I'll put that out in the world now. But I've heard people talk about Zane Durant as like a first rounder, early day 2 guy, which you have heard quite the opposite.
Crazy to me.
Yeah. So, and again, that's not like a me take. I don't even have his number in my board right now. I don't know what number he is, but you still need to watch him to see where that lands. But Dominique Orange is by far the highest graded guy in my interior defensive lineman rankings right now. And I mean, he graded high across the board. Just again, a big old body. Like that's big citrus is no
big citrus is big.
Big citrus is a big boy. But yeah, the power in his hands. I thought he was a great athlete. I mean, great athlete for his size. But another nose tackle that just is a monster. And again, I would love to see him at an event like the Senior Bowl because again, I just feel like he would dominate the pods, dominate the game, dominate the scrimmages, like just a big body that is just annoying for interior offensive linemen to deal with in the first place. But just I feel like he runs his feet through dudes. He elevates guys really well. He extends really well. He shuts down multiple running lanes. Like he's athletic enough to be able to stop the initial rush and force the cut back, but then shed back over and cover up the next gap over to force another cut back with all the zone heavy teams nowadays. But the pass rush, I will admit, I'm probably just impressed with what it looked like. But I thought the bull rush was devastating at times. Like I thought there were times where he was absolutely dominating interior offensive linemen.
Yes.
Like they had no answer. Like he was getting hands on him, running feet, and just dominating interior guys. But yeah, he probably could have a better plan. I thought he did a good job at least getting off of the bull rush into other stuff. I don't think the hands aren't. I mean, he's not Ahmad Moton, but I think he does a good enough job getting into secondary moves through the bull rush. I don't think he separated great, but I thought he was able to get his hands free or a hand free in the backfield. Again, I think he's a very significant impact in the run game. But yeah, another dude another for his size, but the motor is crazy. Like he's running all over the place. He's not going anywhere fast, but he's getting to the ball and he's trying to make as many plays as he can. Just another football guy. Just love the film. plays extremely tall. Like, he's going to have to fix that at the next level. Like, there's times where, and again, the bull rush is still working, but he's driving guys back almost like completely vertical. But I thought very explosive off the ball, great motor, runs his feet, just decimated people with his power. That's kind of my wrap up. But yeah, I'm going to be crazy high on him. I love that film. That's exactly what I want to see. The big body being able to get after it like that and being willing to run around the field. And that just always will have a soft place, a special place in my heart. So I'll let you talk about Orange. Probably more realistic, but yeah,
I'm not all that far off, and happy to inform you that Dominique Orange will also be in Mobile this year.
Nice.
So we'll get to see him in the pod.
What a bad year to miss it.
I know. It's awful. I'll be there representing us in spirit, though. I mean, I'll be actually representing my Titans writing gig, but I'll be there, in spirit for Scout the Shadows. But yeah, I mean, Dominique Orange, in my eyes, you can take off the for his size tag. I mean, Dominique Orange is a flat out incredible athlete.
100%.
If Dominique Orange was 280 pounds, I'd still have the same athleticism part highlighted under his scouting report.
And boy, is he not.
Yeah, I mean, every bit of 330, and he moves like a 270 pound 5 tech. I mean, Dancing Bear has never applied to a player more.
This is like how I felt about Darius Alexander, and this is like he's actually doing it.
Yeah. I mean, Orange, he looks like he's floating for a guy that's like he's always on the balls of his feet, just floating on his toes, floating around that he's the offensive line. I mean, again, all the run defense that comes with 330 pounds, I think he sheds really, really well, can survive double teams, solid anchor. But to me, I mean, the pass rush that comes with, like you said, has the drive power in his bull rush to collapse the pocket even when losing the leverage battle. I think he has an outstanding club swim move. One of the best swims in this class that I watched.
Knocking dudes over with
that full on dominant. Again, really active hands. He's got the windmill hand thing going. The way we talked about Ahmad Moten sniffing out screens and chasing those down. Dominique Orange, I mean, it's like he has a sixth sense in the back of his head. Like there's an alarm bell that rings when a team is running a screen pass. And it's the last thing a running back sees before they end up in a coma. Is like as soon as you get to the ball, you look up and Dominique Orange is in your face mask. I mean, in the BYU game, like a clip that I sent to you, they sent him in a hook zone. And he flat out clotheslines a receiver on a drag route. I mean, like you can't throw it, Dominique Orange. I mean, there's so many ways
everywhere. I don't know.
This guy.
I don't know why that clip
I love it
all over my timeline. Because that is one of the most bonkers plays from what is a true nose tackle to ever. Just awesome.
Yeah, but I don't know if I ever actually gave my ranking on him. He is my 2 behind Caleb Banks. He is an early to second mid run grade for me. And you really can't say enough good things about him. I mean, I don't think he's quite, again, same knocks with most of this class for me. I don't think he's quite that elite echelon of pass rusher where I can knock him into a first-round conversation. But I like him as much as I'm ever going to like somebody with the profile that Dominique Orange has. Just outstanding run defender, moves incredibly well, so fluid for his size, while also having, they had him in a contain role half the time. If that tells you all you need to know about his athleticism.
He's looping.
They trusted this guy.
Yeah,
I mean, you're looping this guy and having him contain Big 12 quarterbacks at 330 pounds. That's just all. Like his coaching staff had that much faith in his movement skills. So that combined with the pass rush arsenal, the length, the run defensibility, the bull rush, the drive power, he's got the total package. Nose tackle for me. And if I'm taking a true nose tackle, he's probably if I don't split up nose tackle and 3 tech, to different positions on my board that just all needs to tackle. But if I did split them up, Banks would be my 1-3 tech and Dominique Orange would be my number 1 nose tackle. I love Big Citrus. I think he deserves even more hype than he's getting right now. And I imagine that will start coming after we get his outing in Mobile. I think he's going to have some really, really fun drill tape for the Senior Bowl practices. But yeah, I mean, I'm not quite as high on you, but I'm not too far off. We love Big Citrus here on this channel. But yeah, that about.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was wrapping up. That's about my thoughts.
Yeah, no, I just this is like the typical post combine. People are going to be like, "Whoa, did you see?" Because he's going to test. Crazy.
This is a 9.7 RAS guy, like 9.7, 9.8 for sure.
Because he's already going to measure massive. And the arms are long. He's taller.
Pterodactyl wingspan.
like this dude is just massive in every sense of the word. Like he's 330 and just he holds it extremely well. He just makes other people look like they're just miniature people because I think he's very well proportioned anyway. But the RAS is going to be crazy. I don't know. He's another guy. I think by the end of the cycle, I'll probably be trying to find ways to sneak Orange and Hunter into mock drafts, like probably in the 20s. But just some of these later teams, I just would love. I would just love to see what would happen, I guess, on my timeline, my mentions. But I'm gonna find a way because I was trying to fill out Orange, and now I'm just ready to. I was saving it for the show because I think it was so close. But Orange and Moten are going to be all over my page here soon because I can't. I've already posted Orange for my subscribers. I posted a whole cut up. I think it was like 3 minutes long of just his highlights from the year. But yeah, Orange and Moten, I just couldn't be higher on, and I think the Bengals are going to get the next guy on the list for me. So. Fun defensive interior class. I feel like is just extremely top heavy. I feel like the fall off is crazy. I feel like you have these guys that either you love the style of play, you love the player, they're just a solid all around player, and then after like 4 or 5 guys, I feel like it really starts to tank. So I'm kind of hoping there's some guys that pop up, whether it's a Senior Bowl or whatever point of the or just find as we watch through, trying to find our true first rounders because we are the only guys that understand football in the draft. So you should obviously listen to our takes because we're geniuses. But yeah, no, I'm really disappointed overall with the D-line class, but the bright spot so far of watching all of this film has been this interior class. I have so many a lot of my top grades are in this defensive interior class. So just, again, I just ramble, I guess. But
yeah, it's funny. I feel like I have varying thoughts on all these players. Like if you listen to me talk about them, I feel like I'm very, very high on some of them and very, very low on one of them. All these guys are second round grades for me. Every single one of them fell in the second round bucket. They're just on, very different, parts of that bucket. But again, all the players graded very similarly. Just some watches I enjoyed more than others. But again, I think it's a very solid, stable defensive line class. I think you're going to find some really good gems on day 2, maybe even early day 3. Just nobody I love in the round 1 conversation besides maybe Banks. But yeah, I mean, all fell in a similar bucket for me, and I think it's a really, really solid group.
Yeah, these are all top 50 guys, like legitimately.
I mean, that's crazy at all. Yeah.
No. But Kate McDonald's not a top 10 player. But on that note, do you want to plug your stuff? Tell people where they can find your awesome Titans writing.
First off. Absolutely. You can check my. I guess I'm so used to saying weekly Titans film breakdowns. Yeah. I'm so used to saying
you're free.
Weekly Titans film breakdowns. There are no more weekly because there's no more games. That we are mercifully into the off season now. But you can find all of my writing at paulkuharski.com. I do weekly film breakdowns that'll now be switching over to draft content. So we'll have, mock drafts, positional rankings, all that kind of stuff. I'll have an article form over at paulkuharski.com. But you can find all my other, non behind a paywall draft coverage, cut-ups, all kinds of stuff, all on my Twitter right here at Iron City Film. And yeah, that's where you can find all of my rambling.
Yeah, and then just, I guess, to wrap up the brand, first off, like, comment, subscribe, because this is YouTube and you're obligated to say that or else you're not allowed to post a video, is what I heard. That's what the terms and conditions said.
That's what they say.
But no, I appreciate everybody that does watch our content because, we put a lot of time into watching film and we just love talking the draft, but we're glad that you like talking the draft with us too because, again, we are geniuses. We're the best of the biz. So, but on that note, make sure you go subscribe to our Substack, which is completely free. It's where I'm dropping all of my draft musings. I don't know if I got my article. I don't know if I published my Dominic Orange article. That could be a fun thing to do tomorrow.
And I'm going to have one on Ted Hurst there soon. I will have something there.
The wide receiver whisperer.
That's what some are saying.
Kyle Williams. But anyway, go check out the Substack. It's where Drew and I are going to post our, whether it's musings on the draft or process or just player write-ups or whatever we feel like dropping. That's where I will be dropping all of my big board stuff as I start making it, public and official. Obviously, I try and do that post Senior Bowl because I just like getting a couple last looks at guys. But anyway, that's where I'll be posting all of my stuff. But Substack is linked on my Twitter, where I post pretty much everything else, including just smack my mic. including my links to the articles on the Substack. But follow me at ParkerBlake60 on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I still feel weird calling it X, but again, Substack's link there. I post all of our YouTube videos there. Obviously, you've already found our YouTube because you're watching this, but yeah. Anyway, thanks for all your support, and I am so very much looking forward to not only Drew's article about your Titans offseason plan, but we are going to be talking about that in the near future. Once we decide what order you want to release stuff in, we'll get that situated. But it's awesome. So again, make sure you go follow Drew's writing because he's doing awesome things over there, huge projects. And
if you want to read 7,000 words about Cam Ward and the Mike McDaniel offense, go check it out. Quick spoiler alert.
I can't wait for it to not happen. But
you won't see me anymore when it doesn't happen.
It's times like this that bring me back to when the Bengals signed Zach Taylor. And in that moment, all those years ago, young Parker was talking to his friend about it because he was also in a coaching hunt, and they hired Brandon Staley. Yikes. But I was against that hire back then. And out of the quarter of the NFL that got rid of their head coaches, including yourself, who had a former Bengal as their head coach, the Bengals are sticking with theirs. So I don't even get to enjoy all of the craziness because I just know what's coming over the next 12 months. But yeah, go follow the Titans. They're going to be on the upswing just like the Detroit Lions did. So congrats to you ahead of time. Congrats on the great draft class and offseason that you've already put together.
Exactly. They should just hire
foretold. It's crystal ball-esque. But anyway, that's coming up. And again, more positional breakdowns. We'll do some mocks on here. I know we've already talked about doing full first-round mocks and talking it through. And because no one's ever done one of those on YouTube, so we wanted to be the first ones to do it.
Very original.
But thanks again. Make sure you go follow Drew. Make sure you follow me. Check out the Substack. Subscribe here. We will see you guys on the next one.